That I'm reminded of that anytime I'm hanging out with all the people that I graduated with or hanging out with other collaborators that I'm regularly with because yeah, when you're with those friends when they got your back and you got
Yeah,
their back, that's how you succeed. And that's something
yeah,
a lot of indie filmmakers that's I think one of the hardest thing interpersonal relationships are
yeah.
probably I would say I'll say yeah, I'll rank it number 1 on the list.
Welcome to episode number 11. I am your host, Benjamin Vomastic, and today we are joined by John Trupiano. John served as a camera operator on our upcoming production, Hometown Summer, and is also a professional in the industry, working as a motion picture technology enthusiast. How are we doing today, John?
Great. Thank you for having me on, Benjamin.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. It's always nice to speak with you. And did I get your title correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's not my official title, which is funny, but I do appreciate that the full perfect read of that. I would declare myself as that because there's so many different roles that I could fill in as, and so many different roles that I actually operate within in my own day job. So I like that as an all-encompassing term.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't we just jump right in then to what do you do in the industry? I know you said you
Yeah,
can fill in various different roles.
Yeah, so there are two things that I do. I've got a day job that's film adjacent, and then I also on the side sometimes, and possibly when the opportunity arises, I'd love to do it more full time. I would like working on films. I like working on productions. My
Hmm.
day job is I guess I would just best put it as a media engineer. What we do at my company that I work at, I work for Key Code Media. We're a national media integration company, and what that really means is for medium to large budget projects of audio and video solutions we provide. Some of the big things that we do are we, I guess we're sort of like B&H, but we build the solution and install the solution and support the solution. So customers will come to us and say, "I need a studio built. Can you help me build the studio?" And we say, "Yes, we can totally do that. We'll get that studio built. We'll put the technology in, which is one of our big pillars, and then we'll give you a little bit of support after that." Me personally, I'm in the Detroit office, and so
Hmm.
a lot of our clients are more local, but they've sent me out for things as far as like the East Coast or even to the West Coast where our headquarters is.
Oh,
One of our
nice.
big clients over here that we just finished is we put the technology in for the scoreboard in the new Comerica Park
Oh,
scoreboard.
nice. That's
It was
exciting.
it was a crazy project. I believe, I should have had the numbers written down, but that was one of the big ones that I think was at least 500,000 for our company. But that went to everyone. That went to the manufacturers that's provided it. We
Hmm.
work with Ross for that one. Ross is the switching and graphics solution that they are using to put all the LED strips in that entire stadium and providing the video for all the screens in the stadium itself too. So in that master control room right above home plate, there are at least a dozen people operating frantically, making sure that everything is perfect. They arrive 3 hours early,
Yeah.
uh, before the show even starts, and they rehearse every single thing that could happen. One of the big things was like Miguel Cabrera's uh, send-off game. They rehearsed so many different things that could have
Yeah.
happened during that game,
That's
and
so cool.
and they did it. Yeah, we did the technology. So I came in, I put in a bunch of things in racks. I ran a lot of cable. Cable is one of the big things that we do. I consider myself a knockoff or a low voltage electrician. We
Uh-huh.
don't really touch the high voltage stuff that you need super certifications and safety for, but
Yeah.
if it's got video running through it or network running through it, we're doing it.
That's so cool. That's crazy. Because I was going to ask about the different things you do. So that's really interesting. That's really neat. I would have never guessed that. I was thinking that I would have guessed that you did like more like commercial work, like TV
Yeah,
commercials. Is that something you do?
in that job, unfortunately, no. We'll give technology and support for places that do make it. Like we'll have ad agencies that have their own in-house studios, and
Hmm.
we'll give them a lot of technology. We'll resell them many things, or um, lots of it is we'll do broadcast. So we'll go to call letter stations, put in
Yeah.
some new appliances for them. We helped get CBS Southfield. They just came back and are finally putting news in Michigan. The Channel
Yeah,
62
I've
Metro
driven by
Detroit.
the headquarters, that would you would call it. I've
Hmm.
driven by it. I didn't know that it wasn't even in service.
No, yeah, it was awesome to see it because they still had all the old equipment in there, the old
Yeah.
analog studio, still kicking, still ready, because they're technically a satellite office that was just rebroadcast, retransmitting all
Yeah.
of the national things, but now they have their own.
Oh wow! And you guys built that entire studio?
So me personally, I don't do the building.
Uh
A
huh.
lot of the times we work with a partner company. One
Yeah.
of them is they used to go by Creative Dimensions, and now they changed their name. And what they do beautiful set building, and then we
Mhm.
put in the technology. If there's a screen, we do the screen. If there's a camera, audio, or the the whole internet connectivity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess in other ways too, I could describe myself as an video IT guy.
Yeah.
But
Right
no,
on.
I yeah.
Yeah. So on that tangent, I know you guys help offer creative solutions to these businesses. What are some of the most common video and audio issues that these companies are running into?
Well, this is a fun thing because our bread and butter, especially in our branch, is network storage. One of the big things, especially for post production, is when you have a big collaborative studio, you can't just work with a bunch of lacies passing them off. And so
Mm.
once you reach the enterprise and commercial level, and everywhere above, once you start making real incomes to support real like multiple editors like under your
Mhm.
belt,
Yeah.
you need a way to connect them all together, and that is network storage. So what it is one big chassis with loaded with terabytes of drives, and I'm saying, well, minimum we do 64 terabytes in one unit, up to petabytes. Um, that connects to the network, and then each of the workstations for the editors connects there, and successful deployment, they can all put a file in there, and it's sort of like working in the cloud, but
Hmm.
with speeds of 25 gigs to the computer, 50 gigs to the computer.
Hmm.
Minimum 10 gig for us, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you had a gaming setup, that would be a very great time.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah. And
Otherwise, some of the other solutions that we also do are um, we will put in a lot of for schools and EDU who are building out their broadcast program. Like we just did, we're finishing up a job at West Ottawa High School,
uh,
which we helped put in all the technology. So they got a new switcher, new cameras, new podcast room, new audio recording setup. Even got all the way as far to the lights. We hung all the lights for their studio, and
mhm.
now this teacher has the greatest teaching setup.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Wow. I'm surprised that the district would have the money to cover something like that.
It came out of millage, so the
Okay.
voters they all voted for it on the proposal.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So we one of the other things too. Then I'm totally our salesperson is a shark. She is amazing. She is so smart. She one of the creative things that she does do in terms of solutions that we do too is she finds ways to get clients funding because
Uh
there are many ways, especially in EDU or in government, to get the funding.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and that's much different, but that's always a big thing with getting narrative and commercial filmmaking done is getting that funding.
Yeah, that's in terms of narrative and commercials, man, the people that succeed, it's like once you have the wind under your wings, it's easy to stay afloat.
Hmm.
And that's the hard thing about like when you want to be an indie filmmaker is you've got to you've got to front it all. I understand, like I bet it must have been a huge undertaking to get the funding for your film and to maintain it and
Well,
manage it.
I fund it myself, so I
And through lucrative employment.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I'm not rich, and these movies are very, very low budget. like extraordinarily low budget, comparatively speaking. But yeah, no, I mean, I do recognize the fortunate spot I'm in to have been able to fund two feature films, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that, if able, I would love to continue doing. Hopefully get some returns to help fund the next project. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
is an
mean,
awesome passion and a worthwhile one to fund money into.
oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I know a lot of people would scoff at it and say, like, what are you doing? These are horrible financial decisions. Like, you could put this into a retirement savings account, but it's like, I'm just so passionate about film and comedy film and the stories that I want to tell, like this like subgenre of comedy, that I mean, I don't want to miss out on it. I mean, I only get to be this age one time and have the opportunity to make these films. And, I'm really not one of those people that says, like, okay, whoever dies with the most toys wins. Like, I am confident that this is something that I would regret if I was elderly and I, like, just never got into because I said, like, oh, I'll just put this into my 401k or whatever, instead of actually, like, have these films that I get to live with forever and continue to hopefully keep doing. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer, but I know it's definitely not the conventional decision making.
Yeah, as a fellow artist, I have to wholeheartedly agree. What I have to pass down to the next generation is what I've created, and I think that's a lot more significant and impactful than simply passing down money.
Yeah,
It's it's personal. It's something that someone could care about. It's something that could inspire the next people that follow
yeah,
you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's honestly like I don't even feel like I have a choice. Like I would be miserable if I didn't make these two movies, like knowing that I could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since I took on this day job, making art has actually been a lot more fulfilling. And I think
Yeah.
I bet you agree, like when you're off the clock, sorry, off the table,
Yeah.
it's making art turns in when it's when you're not worried about gaining clients, when you're not
Yeah.
worried about where your next check is going to come from with what you're holding and you're like with your camera, then
Yeah.
it turn what you do is just focus on how much fun can I have, what can I
Yeah.
do to express myself, and like how good does this make me feel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I'm curious then, because I know you said that you're kind of hinting at the nighttime. You do something differently. You do creative work. Is that correct?
Yeah,
You said you have two
in
jobs.
I'll say two jobs. I work or I am co-owner of a I guess I'll call it a collective now. With the
Uh,
way that we're now selecting projects, but what we do, Lucidity Entertainment is the name of the company that I founded with three awesome people. It
mhm.
used to be four other people, but politics happened, so now it's three. Um,
Yikes! Not
and
fun.
no, but that's interpersonal relationships. That's growing up. But
Yeah.
with those lovely people, anytime they say, "Hey, I've got something going on," I say, "I'm in." You don't even have to pay me much or whatever. Like I just want to create the passion
Yeah.
and being on site, the passion and call time, like being surrounded by fellow like-minded peers that want to create something is just so good. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and that's. I'm sorry to interrupt. I know I've been
no,
yapping
is
a
it?
lot, but the that's something. And fuck, like anyone who like watches these podcasts, like that has watched like multiple of them, like they're probably getting tired of this by now. But like, I am so because I just repeat this all the time. But like, I think that is just so magical and beautiful about indie film sets is that there's just so much passion there, and it's just like such a mutually beneficial process compared to like, and I'm not bagging on these movies because I do like a lot of these movies, but it's just not the same mutually beneficial passion driven process that like $100 million film is, or most $100 million films I should say. um where like, yeah, like just like everyone's working together for creative goal, and even though there's not like a ton of money invested, and everyone that's working on the cast and crew is like obviously working to scale, but like just being able to like come together and build this one project together, and like also like everyone's also like fairly early on in their careers, so like it's also like helping everyone out, like build their portfolio and just get like more experience as well. Like I just find like, yeah, just that rush of passion and everything I just described to be so magical, just such a magical aspect of independent filmmaking that I really feel like gets lost the higher and higher you climb up the budget scale and get into the studio system.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think one of the best things to ever happen with artists is creative limitations. Even if it's sadly through fiscal limitations, you find a way to make things happen. And you
Yes.
create memories and stories out of that that live
Yes.
on much better than, oh yeah, we just used the sky crane and shot day for night. That was it. That I am
Yeah.
I'm completely over. I wish I could find more eloquent words to say, but like I am completely over those out of touch, completely disconnected from society auteurs who want us to say, "I love what you made. This is amazing. That was the most inspirational thing ever." But what we just witnessed instead was a boy in a playground, $100 million playground, showing us like that you can make anything look beautiful. Like that's I'm just gonna say it. That was me and the latest Leonardo DiCaprio film and Martin Scorsese film.
Oh no, the what is it? It's the one that takes
The one
place in
about the
Oklahoma, I
Osage
believe.
tribe.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
God. Why am I saw it in theaters. I don't know why I can't remember. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon. See, I
Yeah.
don't like thinking about that film often because that's all I thought at the end of that. Because this is a very hot take, but yeah, that movie was, I'm never going to watch that film again. I did not enjoy it. I think technically it is a work of a masterpiece of like
Yeah.
technical work. And I think what he does is exactly as intended. I think he does sully you with what happened to the Osage tribe
Mhm.
and the exploitation, along with the barbarity of everyone that wanted to get a piece of that.
Yeah.
But even as he cleverly made an obituary at the end, and basically with
That
that
was
radio
clever.
telecast, that saying like yeah, like, and also it just to reflect on like how forgotten that is. Was it was just ended as a punchline. It was a punchline. Him showing up as a cameo, reading off as a radio telecast, uh, to show like on them. But even with all the the inclusion that he showed, the representation of that tribe,
Yeah.
it kind of feels. And then what if it salts me in some ways is his his savior personality about it. So when he said like, well, I'm helping out those types of creators by making this film so that we could bring to light those creators and make them more seen, to make them more visible, and then to offer them more opportunities. But it's a film about the like the discretion of them. I think that's a story that's it's very easy. I guess it's when he's making the most bombastic. I'll just call it indulgent, self-indulgent film about that. I'm not convinced. He's just playing in a playground, and this time he's trying to add some moral to the end.
Mhm.
And also,
Wow.
why are you surprised when Martin Scorsese makes a really like crazy, huge, like beautiful film?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're offered when you get to pick who works with you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I guess I've never thought about it from the perspective you just put it in. So I can't say I have like very strong opinions about anything that you or like the specifically about that film. It wasn't my favorite Scorsese film, and I love Scorsese. Um, but I can't say I felt the same way you feel. Um,
Yeah, it was
I mean, it
a
makes
lot
sense
of
when you put it that
reflection
way.
on other people's opinions. When you hear everyone saying 5 stars, this movie was beautiful, and I think like, yeah, no surprise it's beautiful, but like, what else about it?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you probably like Kevin Smith a lot then.
Kevin Smith, that's
Oh no, I'm putting you on the
Paul Blart
spot.
Mall Cop.
Yes, he made
Yeah.
Clerks, Mallrats.
Oh, sorry, not Kevin. That's Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, not Kevin Hart. No, not Kevin
Oh
Hart.
yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
James.
Oh yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
James. That's what
Oh,
I
you
was thinking
said
of.
Mall Cop, not Mallrats. Yeah, Kevin
Yeah.
Smith, because he's the one that he got his start in Michigan, and like he made Clerks for very similar budget, maybe inflation adjusted slightly above Hometown Summer, but in the same range for sure. He made that, and I don't have like a fact checker in front of me, but I don't know if he's ever even made a movie for over 10 million. But I know like the like general baseline of the films he makes are like in the like $1 to $3 million range. And he's been living in that range for like the last like 20, 30 years. And like he does a lot with limitations. Granted, he is working in comedy like me, so he doesn't need those like crazy like shots and everything. And he doesn't need stunts or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of his work you've seen. I know we didn't talk about him prior, so I'm putting you
Yeah.
on the spot a bit. But I
No,
feel
I
like
have.
you might like him, like based on the that he doesn't have top pick. Like even though he is working in comedy, like he just straight up does not have the money to like cast like Adam Sandler and Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller. And I love all three of the guys I just mentioned, but like he has those limitations, and like he can only work with like a certain level of name recognition, and he can't like he just doesn't have the same money for the equipment and crew as well as like someone like Scorsese or God forbid James Cameron. I mean,
Oh, don't get me started on
yeah.
Avatar too.
I honestly didn't watch. I'm not a huge fan of most major blockbusters that came out, and I decided not to watch that one. But
That's
yeah,
fair. I think Kevin Smith makes good films of the ones that I have seen.
yeah,
Clerks was a formative film for me as a filmmaker.
me too.
And I watched that before I even decided to go into film.
Me
So
too.
maybe it
About
helped
a year
subconsciously
before.
get me into it.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That I never thought about that way, but I think I watched it 1 or 2 years before I wrote my first screenplay, and that might have been it. Like it might have just been that this guy made this movie for 30 grand. Like, why can't I?
Yeah, it was awesome too. And working with the community to make that happen,
Yeah,
and working within those limitations. How many sets were there? I think there were like what, two, three sets in that entire film. It was
I'm
all
trying to
taking
think.
place in the
There's the
store,
house. There's the house in the store, and I think
the
that's it.
video rental place.
Okay, so maybe three.
Yeah,
But yeah,
maybe. Yeah, and that's the type of limitations that are just wicked. Is when you have to make something and you're limited by what your scope is, and so it forces you into making something creative and cool.
oh, I fucking love it. I love creative limitations. I don't know, like you brought up, you talked about like just all the beauty in it, and like I could not agree more. Like creative solutions are just I don't know what other word to use besides beautiful or magical. Like they're just so special.
Yeah, whenever I get to work as camera on set, one of my favorite non-OSHA certified techniques is in bedroom scenes. Lots of people want to get a nice overhead shot
Yeah,
of direct, like top-down bird's eye view of the people laying in the bed.
yeah,
And that's fun when you've got a lot of money and a soundstage that you could literally take the roof off and do everything. When you're working indie, how do you
yeah,
do that? And my
yeah.
favorite thing is you find a C-stand. C-stand is my favorite tool, my absolute favorite tool. It is. If I could have 10 C-stands just in my house to be in there, I would do that. But I put a C-stand, I counterweight it, and basically make a very long T. And the camera's picked on one end. And most of the time, what I like to do is just it spins because it's just on that joint. So
Yeah.
a lot of shots that I love to do overhead is just a rolling or I guess sort of a rolling shot technically from the perspective of the viewer, but it's really just a really weird arc. And it's
Yeah.
fun. It looks cool.
Oh
It makes
yeah.
great transitions.
Oh yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, that's something that I've learned a lot more about in between my first feature and the second one, Hometown Summer. It's just like the importance of transitions. It's like, yeah, you learn a lot by like just listening to other people talk and by just like actually like studying films as well.
When you were making this film, did I know this was your second go at a feature, but did
Yes.
you have a after learning the first time, what I failed to do when I visualize a script is exactly transitions. Were you making a lot more conscientious effort this time around, or did you have any specific instances about that?
Yeah, so it's something that I don't. So like, I'm not a very strong technical filmmaking person. Like, I can see when things are wrong, but like, I don't always know the solution. So that this is something that I like talked to Rishi about.
Mm.
I was just like talking about, like, asking him about like transitions and like how we can like flow from one scene to the next, and like he was already 2 steps ahead. Like,
No
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
why
it
you
was.
get
Yeah,
yourself a
no.
good crew.
He came with because like I give creative freedom to my cinematographers to make the shot list. I'll jump in and say like, oh, I like a shot like this here, or like I might say like, I like the idea of this. Does this make sense? But I am in no way like certified to interfere at all, or like even like just be like a big collaborator with the shot list, because I don't understand camera work to that level, that I just don't want to make things worse by
Mm.
jumping in. So I give very little input. And then I answer whatever questions need to be answered from my cinematographer. But Rishi, I would say, yeah, probably. I think a good number is a good percentage is 99% of the shots in Hometown Summer were Rishi's idea. And yeah, like when he was making the shot list, like he was, yeah, that was already something that he had thought about, was the transitions, and like definitely something that he put a lot of concern towards, because it was something that I was learning more and more, like not even like right after my first film was made, but like closer to when this one was actually being made, just thinking about like how can we technically make this a better film. And so I was just like asking him like, what about the transitions and whatnot? Like once that came to the forefront of my mind, and like, yeah, like I said, like he already had his plan.
It's then you must have had an excellent script to base off of from the beginning, because that's the hard thing with. From me, I mainly work in the camera position actually, or cinematographer, and it is so difficult to resurrect a film, or to find meaning, or to compose shots with meaning when there's nothing in the script, when there's nothing, when it's meaningless, when it's just steak and potatoes. But
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I don't want to say I wrote an excellent script, because I mean, you live and you learn, and like this next one I'm going to write, I know will be better than this one. And like I don't even think like that one will be a masterpiece, because like you can only like you only are as good as you are with the experience you have, and like you just like learn and grow. So like I know, I mean, I don't think I think that was more so like Rishi, like he probably pulled the information out of me from asking questions, and I didn't even know it, that like he was like thinking about transitions or like specific shots and whatnot. But he definitely is just so talented, and like just knows how to compose a great shot, that I think that with I mean, I hope the script wasn't horrible, but that like he was able to get he got it, and like he understood how to compose the shots based on what I gave him.
yeah, yeah, I mean, from what little I saw from my day on set, I was laughing at a lot of the jokes.
Oh, well,
It's some
thank
clever
you.
stuff.
Thank you. That's definitely, I would say, up to this point, personally, I feel like that is my strong suit in screenwriting, is jokes.
Hmm.
Which,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and sense of humor is so subjective that some people will definitely not like the jokes. But from like the kind of films that I'm trying to make, like that is definitely both my favorite thing to do, and yeah, I mean, I think that that's. I'm not trying
yeah,
to like toot my own horn, but like, because like, yeah, I mean, obviously I have room to grow in every aspect, but out of like the areas of room to grow, that's my lowest concern. But I still want to get better, obviously.
oh
So
yeah, yeah,
that's awesome to hear that you were enjoying it.
yeah. Good visual gags too. I think it's what I like is in comedy. I think is universal comedy. I think that we all need to think about like shows or movies that like let you just watch what's happening and absorb it, and not focus on making humor out of like very complex things. Although one of my favorite types of humor, though, is out of like this straight up outrageous complex. Like, this might be way too much of a tired compliment, but I think Seinfeld is my favorite comedy show. I think the way that they orchestrate ridiculous shenanigans from the seed in the beginning to the punchlines at the
Yeah,
end, it's masterful. It's fantastic, and that's a lot of it is visual. A lot of it is my I guess Bechtel test of that type of thing is
yeah,
when I watch my favorite good films, my favorite like absolute favorite films of all time are the ones that have universal understanding because film as a medium is a visual medium, and it's
yeah,
I think the best is when it transcends language. So if I sit down and watch a movie with my mom, who's a Mexican immigrant, if
yeah.
she understands and loves that movie, then that movie did great because that when English is your second language and you understand a film, they did a great job. They did a
Yeah.
fantastic job.
Yeah, no, that's so funny. I just have so many thoughts just come to my mind. And the guy who coaches me in poker is from Sweden.
Whoa.
Yeah, so English is not his first language. And there's another guy in the stable. Stable is just like a coaching program. And he lives in Sweden as well. And like English isn't his first language. And I found that we all really like a lot of the same kinds of comedies. And I found that it seems like it's kind of like a myth saying that sense of humor comedy doesn't travel well. Um, but I think it comes down to like the like going through like super high concept jokes and like you need this and that and blah 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 to like understand this. But like the kind of comedy that I love so much and that I found that they like as well, a lot of it's just like pretty simple and just like human interaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like.
And yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah. You
say
got it.
I love just simple dialogue is my favorite. I love it so much. Just very simple. Like I know this person and like speaking in terms of like a character, like, oh, I know someone who acts like this in real life. And like them just saying very simple things, like doing simple things and comments about the things they do and so on and so forth. That is my favorite. I don't care too much for very exquisite Harvard level English dialogue that's supposed to be funny. I mean, a lot of times it just, I'll be able to sit back and appreciate it and say, like, yes, they worked very hard on this dialogue and whatnot. And good job. But like, it doesn't make me laugh like something like a Todd Phillips or Judd Apatow or Seth MacFarlane film would.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think good comedy, great comedy to me is programming characters to react certain ways to situations. So when you throw them into that situation, it's a powder keg
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know the audience expects, or not even if they don't expect, when the audience is familiar with the character and they see that character there, you kind of like you're literally giving them the match to light the fire.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's satisfying because then
Oh,
you
definitely,
you
yeah.
get exactly what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really think it's a less is more thing. I don't think you have to reinvent the wheel to do comedy. I don't think there was anything wrong at all with the rapid fire comedies from 1999 to I don't know when it ended, '08, '09, whatever. I really don't think the formula is broken at all. I don't think it's not rocket science doing comedy.
A lot of them are all times too.
Yeah.
I know of the ones that I definitely still would go back to any time of the week. I think Superbad is one of them.
I knew you were going to say
It's
it. I just figured, yeah, that's probably my second favorite comedy of all time.
Superbad's really good. I am unfortunately not a huge fan of Step Brothers. I think a lot of Will Ferrell comedy
That's
to
so
me,
funny. I didn't like that one either.
it's good but not great to me.
Oh, I
It's
just straight
a
up didn't like. I didn't like the
wow.
style of humor. I do like Will Ferrell, but I don't know. I did not connect with that one. But I'm in the minority.
Hmm. I think This Is the End was hysterical. I think that movie
I'm going to be honest.
does
That one wasn't my favorite.
no
I
way.
love James Franco. I don't know it, but it. I don't know. Sorry to rain on your parade. I do love Superbad.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, Superbad is good. Pineapple Express is good, but I
Yep.
don't know. This is the end to me was like I don't get to enjoy. It's a treat to see actors act as themselves.
Yeah. No, that was definitely clever. And maybe I should give that one another watch. It's been a while. Like I know for sure that like I don't like Step Brothers, but This Is the End could be something that's worth could be a film worth trying out again.
Yeah, I it's been too long since I've seen The Hangover though. I know that's one of your favorites.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I like the director a lot, Todd Phillips.
Yeah. Did you watch the new Joker?
No, I'm going to see that either tonight or tomorrow night. I'm going to watch the Saturday Night Live movie and the Joker movie this weekend, but I don't know which day I'm going to watch which one. Um, but yeah, I will be watching that. Did you see it?
I did see it. I did see it, and
Did
that
you think
was
it was terrible? Because that seems to be what people are saying.
in the least spoilery way possible. I think that it is a very to me it is it bridges a line. It bridges a line for me that makes it difficult to accurately describe because on one hand, it really I'll say two films. There are two films that it makes me feel. It makes me
Okay.
feel on one hand like Killers of the Flower Moon, but on the
Okay.
other hand, it makes me feel Saving Private Ryan. And I know those are
Okay.
two just like weird different things to describe
Yeah.
it, but it's the feeling that I get out of it. And Killers of the Flower Moon, as I said before, it makes me I'm upset at the end, thinking like, yeah, the director really did what he wanted, and he really like he solicited the reaction out of me that he definitely wanted to do. He did it in a slightly underhanded way,
Yeah.
at least in making me feel the way that I feel.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, it was, I can't deny it. But like, I'm also mad. But on the other spectrum, Saving Private Ryan was amazing, 10 out of 10, spectacular
Uh
film.
huh.
But
Yeah.
I never want to watch it again. I don't think I could sit through it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's difficult. It's heavy. So I think Joker 2 was a very heavy film. I think a lot of people. I think one of the big things about it is the film, by and large, is meant to mock and be self-referential to the previous film, and
Oh,
especially to the fans that interpreted it the way that Todd Phillips was not a fan of.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. I've seen a lot of people complaining about him. Like there seems to be a big fuck you to him from the internet communities. But yeah,
They were.
I'm
It's. I think to me, it's really. I don't want to call it super highbrow, but it was like if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, then unfortunately, it's like you're not gonna like it at all.
man, I don't know. That doesn't bode well for me. I'm not the kind of person that usually understands these super high concept films. I kind of feel like a dumbass talking right now. Like I'm talking like I like the really simple jokes. I don't understand the high concept movies.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it though for that film as well. Another
Yeah.
demerit against it is you don't really know with I don't know if that's what he wanted to do actually. And so that's when you want to when you are forced to consider what the artist's intent is in that type of film, you almost wonder like, well, that sounds like they didn't succeed, but also it sounds like that they're they shouldn't have tried that in the first place if it's that vague or if there are many things yeah that I'll leave it at what I previously
Yeah.
stated.
Hopefully, I enjoy it enough that it's one of those movies that I'm on YouTube for the next hour listening to what the movie actually meant. If it's one of those, I'll like it. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
did that with Speak No Evil. I don't know if you saw that, and it was a lot of fun.
I heard of it. I didn't see it yet. Is that the one about the cabin and
Yes. Yep.
okay, yeah, I saw the trailers because I go to $5 movie night anytime I can, so I'm seeing
Uh-huh.
Saturday night this Tuesday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. I highly recommend Speak No Evil if you like horror and or thriller because it's definitely both.
Okay,
And
yeah,
it's I go to the movies about 100 times a year, and
we're part of the
I
1%.
yeah yeah I would say it's the best movie I've seen this year. So
Wow.
that is my endorsement. Well, yeah, either that or oh god, if you've seen this one, I don't know how you're going to take this because I've gotten shit from this one from a ton of cinephiles for not only like for let alone liking it, but like saying that I think this might be the best or the second best movie of the year. The Bike Riders.
Oh, I want to see it. That's got Austin Butler, right?
Yes, and I think her name's Jodie Comer, and Tom Hardy. And I was just swept off my feet. I loved it so much. So good, so refreshing. Yeah, I just loved everything about it. I remember my first thoughts after getting out of that film was that was a complete masterclass on directing and acting. Just phenomenal directing, phenomenal acting, some of the best I've seen in modern times. And yeah, a lot of people
I'm
think
so
that I am
mad I
insane.
missed it.
A lot of people think I'm insane for having that opinion. So take with that what you will. But I definitely recommend at least checking it out. I mean, you can see it on Amazon now.
You're not the first to give this glowing endorsement, though. My brother
Okay.
and friend both said it was a fantastic film, and they saw
Yes.
it. I was out for that week, unfortunately. So,
Uh,
but I want to catch it now. If it's on Prime, I'll catch it on Prime.
well, I think you have to rent it right now. It's probably not going to be
Ah,
free for like 6 months to a year, but
well,
it's worth the money in my opinion.
I think wait like um, the podcast is a great way to spout opinions and a great place to spout opinions. But
Yeah.
I think that like while we're spouting opinions, I
Yeah.
think we should
Have
also
at it.
like acknowledge that like it is at least in filmmakers, what you just said, like feeling like people are at your throat about that opinion. I hate that. I think
Oh
people should be
yeah.
mad at you for anything. Like, because I'll tell you this, my number one absolute favorite film, undeniably, no camp, no whatever, Transformers, 2007. I
Okay.
think
I
I've
enjoyed
written,
it.
actually, I've written all of my major essays to graduate film school were about that film.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so, like, definitely not to the point of, like, I didn't make a master's thesis about it, but, like, I feel very strongly about the cultural significance of that film and very strongly about how well executed it was for what it was.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in probably 14 years, but I liked it. I liked it a lot when I saw it.
You were
Maybe I'll have to
probably in
rewatch
high
it.
school or middle school at the time then.
Yeah, no, I think I was in elementary.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
just turned
That's,
26, so yeah.
mm, yeah, I was close. I'm close. I'm just a little older.
Yeah.
So it was,
Yeah, that was I vividly remember laughing. I know it's not a comedy, but I vividly remember laughing really hard at the scene when he's at the school and he says, I don't know if he was at the school or if he was at football practice or whatever, and he like says to the bully or whatever the guy was, like he says something about like you would like I don't.
it's got it's got
you'd
little
love,
coloring sections you would
yes,
love.
yes. That was exactly that. I remember laughing really hard at that.
Mm-hmm. No, it was clever. It was, they cast that film perfectly with all the characters that they wanted, and despite Michael Bay being problematic in the end of his relationships with them, I think that that film, and I'll say it, and this is why I love this in the podcast, because now this is the first podcast that I get to spout off my thesis on this film, which is
Yeah.
that film is the anthology of the 2000s. It is a nonfiction account of the year 2007.
Okay.
Because everything about that film, if you rewatch it, it stylistically encapsulates everything from that era, from TV commercials to sponsorships to brands to the way they acted, the way they sexualized people, or the type of comedy, the type of action that they inspired.
Yeah.
Like the Michael Bay literally created like basically a summary of that entire decade.
That's so awesome. Like I was looking down because you literally gave me goosebumps when you were talking about that. I need to rewatch it. Like that's that endorsement alone because I love that so much. Where you can go and like just into a moment in time in a film, like just like live that moment in time. Like yeah, I'm going to rewatch this movie now because of how you just described it. Like that. That is pretty damning. Like I get that when I watch like American Pie. Granted, it
Oh
was
yeah,
made.
yeah.
It was it was made when I was 1 year old, but like, I mean, times don't change that fast. Where like I wasn't like alive during like the era that they're like. I remember all those things, like the old fashioned computers and like the internet barely being a thing and all of that. And like I more or less grew up in that generation, and like I feel that when I watch that, and it's just like the punk rock vibe, and Blink 182's even in the movie, and it's
Hell
it's
yeah, man.
yeah, it's very much like I get that when I feel that, and like I just get this feeling in my body, like wow, I like feel like I'm in the year 1999 right now.
No, you're absolutely right. That film and Scream for me both
Oh
like
my god, I
transport me
love Scream.
into the era.
That's so funny because I would say those are my two favorite series of all time: Scream and American Pie. And yeah, no, that's funny. Like the comedy, favorite comedy series, favorite horror series, definitely Scream and American Pie. And yeah, no, I feel that so much as well. I did not like the most recent Scream. That one drove me nuts. But other than that, wonderful, wonderful series.
I unfortunately haven't tuned into any of the sequels for most of those films. I think a long time ago I watched some sequels to American Pie. I
Yeah.
know I saw American Wedding in theaters for some reason with
Oh
no
my
context
God,
as like
you were
a middle
young.
schooler. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
because
know
that
why
came
I'm
out
into
in
that film.
'03.
American Wedding? No, wait,
Yeah.
no. What was or Reunion? I think it was
Oh,
American Reunion.
Reunion came out in '12, I think.
Okay, yeah. I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That
that
was
I love all of them personally,
mhm.
but I'm a pretty basic bitch when it comes to 2000s comedy.
No, like I said, they're a time capsule, and that's
Yeah,
perfectly said about it.
yeah, and I mean they're just such a heavy inspiration for me. Like these films that I'm making are, I definitely try to like. Granted, they do take place in 2024, the previous one in 2022, but they I definitely try to dip into that very much. Not dip in. I very much try to like bring worlds, bring the world of the story to be like in that like 2000s comedy world, even though it like takes place in modern times.
I miss that era mainly because I feel like it was much easier to have a coherent story without it. Cell phones break everything,
Yeah,
as filmmakers, like texting, cell phones, I hate the idea of filming all that stuff, and I would love to just make a film from the aughts because I think the aughts were like, I think you and I can both relate. I want to get to this is that they we kind of lived a syndicated version of the 90s. I
yeah,
think before modern smartphones, like even up to like 2013 when the first iPhone was still getting traction. Or sorry, when iPhone 4 and 5 were like getting
yeah,
traction, like it was a struggle to print. I remember it's been 10 years since like I've struggled to print. And
yeah.
now the way things it's we totally forgot what it was like back then, and I think even then like we lived in the bygone part of the 90s. Still we watched the 90s TV shows, still they were still playing because that was what they played. We
Yeah,
still had
yeah.
cable. We still
Oh yeah, cable's not that far long gone.
we didn't cut our landline until
Yeah,
like I was out of high school.
I think my parents still have their landline.
But it was a totally different time. It was and it was definitely a time that was simpler even
Yeah,
comparatively to today.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely does present new challenges, but I mean, at the same time, what can you
Yeah,
do?
digital cinema has given us a lot of opportunities now, thankfully. So I guess that's the good thing. We're not recording the same way Kevin Smith did to a Super 8 film or Super
Yeah,
16 or
100%. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, there definitely is. You definitely make a good point. I just try to, in any way I can, I just try to stay optimistic and try to just like view it kind of like how you just did and say like there are trade offs. Like even though we have this aspect, we benefit in more ways. Great with the
yeah.
cheapness of filmmaking and that I can make a film and distribute it myself. Like in the year 1990, I mean, sure, you could like. So I'll have a premiere in Ann Arbor, and like hopefully have like some showings in some other cities around Michigan and maybe Ohio and whatnot. Like you could do that, but you also could not put it on Amazon. That was not an option. You had to go through distributors, and there were you had to get yeses from people, and you don't have to do that now.
That is exactly the type of indie filmmaking that I love now.
Yeah,
It's creating a subculture, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are now becoming like it is now simultaneously a hobby and a passion for people or fandom. Like I love 48-hour film fests. because
Yes.
all the ranges. I can't wait to grow old into being like the retired people at 48 Hour Film Fest because you're watching all the younger generations and it's everyone is there for the same reason because they love film.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it is beautiful. I love the filmmaking community. Well, most of it. I hate
Ah,
Reddit, but I hate Reddit and like anonymous people who just are there to just talk shit and rain on people's parade. But like I love the like energy driven and people that like just want to make art and aren't there to like put people down and just want to be positive and make movies. I love those people.
heck yeah, good folks, good movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, so moving forward, I mean, I think like this does actually kind of tangent in well to the next topic that we're talking about is just tips you would give to low budget filmmakers.
I love this question because I think as this question is very important to answer as someone freshly, like uh, getting their feathers in the scene versus like someone 30 years into the scene because we're watching the rungs beneath us get burned off. We're
Yeah.
watching everything, all opportunities evaporate below us if we're not at a certain level already. And I'm already seeing the rungs above me beginning to dissolve, which is sullying. I'm using that word a lot, but it's not it's frightening and it's like really disheartening to see that. And so this is why I love this new culture. And so I think the number one is to embrace the culture of indie filmmaking now. I think we are in a whole new level of like filmmaking. It is
Mhm.
not we're not attached to anything. You can make films because you want to make a film. You can make, but that's the most important thing is you got to make it because you want to make it, not
Mhm.
because you want to make a crap ton of money off of it. That's what
Yeah.
a lot of people think that they want to do, but it's unfortunately not that easy, and it's going to take a while. Patience was the big thing that I had to learn is to learn that I'm not immediately going to walk into Hollywood and get a job.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You have to do it yourself, but that's why the scene is important. I love local music scene. I love local film scene. I think everyone that supports each other is going to create a better community for everyone together. And so,
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the more we support each other, the more we can, for lack of a better cheesy term, like make an indie would. It sounds kind of
yeah,
dirty, but
no,
yeah.
that's exactly it. You have to support, and that's much easier said than done because envy is like the enemy of this
Oh
entire
my God,
production.
yeah,
Is you see
yeah.
someone and like it really bugs me, and this is why I don't like someone going and getting their feathers versus someone that's like already flying with wind in their sail. Like those people, when I'm on set, when I was a PA scraping bird shit off the floor of a hangar for a Mustang commercial, I thought, how am I going to get up there with those people on camera? That sounds cool. You ask them, and they say, I. Yeah, I've been here for a while. I know people. That's it. Like that's their answer. Is how do you climb up the
Yeah,
ladder?
get out of here. Yeah, no, those people just, yeah.
And that those are the people that exactly made me get my day job is realizing that like I don't think I'm like I was doing PAing when I at your age actually because
Uh-huh,
I'm edging 30 now and
uh-huh.
when you're that close to 30 and you're like, thinking of other things like man a lot of my friends are like owning homes and I'm
Yeah,
doing this as a PA. So
yeah,
it makes you really rethink what you're doing and I think that's why indie filmmaking is where it's at because even if it technically isn't going to be financially fruitful, most likely, it just is. It's fulfilling. It's something that you're doing,
yeah,
and you're part of something. You're a part of something with people. So I think the passion. Okay, I got to loop it back to advice, but yeah, passion. Yeah, just have to be into it. You have to be willing to get in the
yeah.
grind.
We can get back to that in a second. I do have a couple of things to say that
Yeah.
just came to my mind. One, that's not to say that it will forever not be fruitful. I mean, I am a firm believer that you work hard enough at something, you're passionate enough about something, like you just have that drive and you just keep going, like you eventually will become successful.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be this year or next year or 5 years from now, but I strongly believe that like you keep doing it 20 years down the road, like there's no reason why it can't be your full-time job if you just keep grinding at it and like you keep the passion and you keep making your movies for the right reason, like that's not. I don't see any reason why you can't venture off into being a full time filmmaker. It just
Yeah,
ties
I
into what
gotta
you said
agree.
about patience. Yeah, but like 100%, no one should expect to make any money at all on their first, I don't know, however many films, but exactly, like, you shouldn't look at it from that perspective. It should be something for fun. And I think it should always be for fun. But you should just wait and see what happens and live in the moment. Um,
Yeah,
but,
yeah. That's
oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
That's no, that's the doing it for fun. That's why filmmaking is better for me than trying to find client work because client work with filmmaking you can reflect, and as you have already said, you make your next film better, and you're already having ideas how to make it better than the last. You have
Yeah.
this one, you have ambitions, and you're doing things in a gradual way that is self-fulfilling to you. When you're seeking clients and you're trying to slowly increase your micro budgets into clients that are willing to pay you tens of thousands, like that's not fun. That's not
Yeah.
easy. That's worry looking over your shoulder 24/7. And that's just so demoralizing to try to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I completely get you there. The and just the other thing that came to mind when you were speaking was the idea of like not helping each other out and like yeah, just like the envy and like oh like I can't like say this because then like this person's gonna do this and whatnot. But, like, so what? The example that comes to mind is Judd Apatow and the films that he made, like that great run he had in the 2000s, early 2010s. Like, I've listened to him talk a lot because he's one of my favorite directors, and I think that's such a great way to get better. Is to just like, you know, they might be on an hour, 2 hour long podcast or whatever, and like they might only like give like one or two bits of advice that like really like stick out, but like if you like just listen to them talking over and over again, like those are going to add up and you're going to learn a lot over time from them. And one of the things I heard him talk about was like when they were making these movies like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and This Is 40 and Knocked Up and like all those that he wrote and directed, and then like he also like helped produce like Superbad and Pineapple Express, and like the list goes on and on. Like he was a part of a lot of the great 2000s, early 2010 films. But when they were making these movies, like a lot of people who were like a lot more accomplished than him at the time, who had just like had great careers in comedy and been around the block, like they would just help him out, and like they would all get together and like they would all like go to the table read, and like they were making little if any money at all on the project, but like they would go there because like they were a part of this community and like they liked him and they had these relationships. Like they would get all these people together and they would all talk about like how can we make this better, and like just like the selflessness of the people who came before him, well, and we're still active in the industry, just coming together to make like the best films possible. Like that's why we got so many great comedies, because you would get tens, maybe even 100+ great comedic minds and overall just strong screenwriters, storytellers, producers together, and come together to make this great film. And like so, like that, all of that is lost. Like I have no doubt that Judd Apatow, if he was the only writer, producer, and director on all of his films, I have no doubt that those would be good films. But I have a hard time believing that we would get the legendary pictures that we ended up getting if everyone didn't come together and, you know, just as a community build something together and share your insights and your help.
Very well said. Very well said. That I'm reminded of that anytime I'm hanging out with all the people that I graduated with or hanging out with other collaborators that I'm regularly with, because yeah, when you're with those friends, when they got your back and you got
Yeah,
their back, that's how you succeed. And that's something
yeah,
a lot of indie filmmakers that's I think one of the hardest thing. Interpersonal relationships are
yeah.
probably, I would say, I'll say, yeah, I'll rank it number one on the list of
Oh
being
yeah,
successful.
100%.
Which is
Yeah, no,
ironic because there's so many other things at the very base to learn before you can try to break into the industry. But no, you got to be good with people and be supportive and be a part of the scene.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, tying back into the the advice. I mean, and you have definitely given advice, but just your general big points of advice that you would give to someone in the low budget filmmaking sphere.
Yeah, definitely interpersonal. I think
Yeah.
then writing is king. I think
Yes.
you can never wait too long. You can never wait too long on a script, okay? You can always revise it. In fact, one of my screenwriting classes, one of the big things that I took out of it is like uh, a film isn't like done because like it reached the goalpost and it is done. It is done because you have declared it to be done at that stage. Same with the script. Like you can keep developing that script. You can keep working shopping it with people. And I think a lot of people think that their writing is a lot better than it is, but there's so many things that make good writing that a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
us subconsciously don't even realize until you see it's bad. It's like a lot of things that make bad indie filmmaking are just the lack of what makes a normal film work.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. I've learned that so much as well, and a trap that I've fallen into. So thankfully, I've been always looking for help and like looking for to get notes and feedback. Like I don't like have this ego about my writing 'cause, yeah, I think it can always be improved.
That's
Um,
big. That's
yeah.
big.
But like a trap that I've fallen into when writing these scripts is I know all the characters, I know everything that happens, I know why it happens, and then I write this out, and then like a note I'll get is like, why did this happen? Why is this character doing this? I don't know who this character is. Like very little is said about him. It's like because I have everything in my mind, but like it didn't all translate to the page because I can see everything happening, but people can't read minds. And like if this is the script that's made, you're going to end up with an audience with a lot more questions than answers.
That hit the nail right on the head there. Yep, that is the big thing. That's why, yeah, other collaborators are so important. You can't write a script by yourself. You can come up with a world by yourself. Maybe you can come up with like a TV series because like you're whatever maybe. But no, you can't.
No.
Especially with a feature length film, when you got 2 hours, or when you're going even crazier with 15-minute film,
Yeah.
you every single page counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people, you can always get better at writing. Read more,
Oh
consume
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so encouraged by that. 'Cause I just know I have so much more to go in my writing journey. I mean, it never ends. Like it's not like you like reach a point where it's like, oh, you reach level 100, you're done. But I just see how much I've grown already, and like I know that I'm like not even like 10% of the way there. It's like it's so encouraging and motivating, and like really drives me to know like just I want to learn whatever I can and like just make each is successive a word each succession in my screenplays. I want each one to be better than the last one and like learn what can I do better, because
Yeah.
ultimately I want to just make the best films possible that I can.
Yeah. Self-reflection is so important, so good. I once was collaborating on a script with someone, or really consulting on a script with someone who was like, I had very stark questions about certain things that they really couldn't answer, that they were still so adamant about keeping certain sections in a script, and I thought, no, this is killing the entire pace. You need to fix this. This isn't
Yeah.
working. I am not entertained by this, and and I'm just someone that's like, I'm just trying to critically do it. And if you pass this to someone else, you're gonna have difficulty. They're gonna have difficulty. But ego is, yeah, that's what kills a
Oh
script.
yeah, you definitely can't have an ego. And also it's like it's okay to write a really shitty first draft. I mean, I know both of my first two screenplays were like just like they were unreadable. I didn't realize that when I wrote both of them, but like when I like got notes back from people, like I learned that they were. And like this next one that I'm outlining that I'm probably going to start writing a week or so from now.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I feel good about it because like I know like I'm doing everything so much better, like which with everything I've learned. And like it's like I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know damn well it is going to end up being unreadable. I'll learn why, and like I'll like each draft is going to get better, but like I know damn well this first draft, no matter how hard I try and how good I feel about it, like it's just going to be like an unmakeable movie after the first draft, and that's okay. That's what you should expect to happen when you're in the early drafts of a screenplay.
Hmm. I've learned so much about writing from, like literally just reading other people's scripts too, especially
Yes.
people that don't write good scripts. Like for me, what I've learned, what makes, it's kind of weird to say, it's kind of counterintuitive, and hopefully it's more scalable than it sounds. But when you look at bad filmmaking, it really makes you realize what makes good filmmaking, which is just a lot of like
Yes.
making a film look like a film. Making a film like
Yeah.
the lighting that Rishi had was beautiful. The writing was realistic dialogue. The actors were actually acting, and like the sound sounds good. When something is bad, it is immediately identified by the audience from the top down. It
Yes.
ruins the whole experience.
100%. And that's something I'm sure that you can relate with, that like before you started making films, it would just be like, this movie sucks. But like
Hmm.
a lot of the times you don't actually know why. I mean, sometimes if the writing is so bad or like you just hear dialogue that's like, what the fuck is this? Like you can pinpoint that. But like if a lot of things are subpar but not necessarily horrible, I think it's very hard to like when you're at least like when you haven't made a film, you're not immersed in the filmmaking world at all. It's very hard to understand why you didn't like something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find the vocabulary. Vocabulary was
Yeah,
one of the big things that changed me into being a very rabid letterboxed writer.
I need to get on there. Yeah.
It's fun to me. What I like Letterboxd the most is it doesn't feel like Reddit. It doesn't feel like a
Oh god,
bunch
I
of
hate Reddit.
pricks writing a bunch of crap. It's
So
I
you
follow
agree that
for my
Reddit's
friends.
terrible?
I like Reddit
Oh
as a
no.
former addict, but I cut it cold turkey. So no, I don't like Reddit. The only thing I
Okay.
do is go to r/NFC North meme war. That's it, just to keep up with the Lions.
I don't know. I feel like even those people would drive me nuts. I don't know. I'm very
Yeah.
Reddit phobic, probably to a fault. But
Yeah, that's fair because it is a great way to waste a lot of your time. In fact, I wasted years of my life on that
oh, I
app.
just hate
And
all the
no,
negativity.
that too. That too. It
I
gets
could
to you.
never get I could never get addicted to it because it felt like every time I like went on there and like made a post or like commented on a post, like I just felt like I was like always like
You had to defend
I
yourself.
just felt like I was always under attack.
Hmm.
And I don't like that. I have no problem with criticism, but something about people like hiding behind anonymity and not behaving how they would actually behave or criticize the way they would criticize if we were face to face. Like I don't like that. It's yeah.
Yeah. What? So why? Contrary to that, why I love Letterboxd is it feels like a very open space where like everyone is allowed to love or hate a film, and
Uh
if you don't like it, you just scroll right past it. You just see the reviews, and you can even filter the reviews that agree with you because that's you're there to interact. I mean, I'm not there to interact. I like the reviews that, and I read jokes. A lot of them are funny jokes for things that happen in the film or quotes.
yeah.
Or some of my friends. I love seeing what my friends talk about on their films because then I'll text them instead of like it'll start a
Yeah.
conversation. And I love
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
movies with my friends.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I should get on there and find out who which of my friends are on there as well cuz that yeah, that sounds beautiful.
It's a very tight or sorry, closed off like siloed community. Like I don't.
Yeah.
There are no interactions or cross interactions. If I find someone that has a letterbox, I become their friend.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know that oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, just connecting that previous point as well. This was one of the most helpful bits of advice that I've ever gotten. Not personally gotten. I saw this on a in his masterclass, but Aaron Sorkin says if you want to improve as a screen, and it's this ties into exactly what you said, but if you want to improve as a screenwriter, director, producer, you name it, it was specifically talking to screenwriters, but said next time you watch a movie and you don't like it, or you like it but you don't like a scene, instead of making a snarky comment, actively take notes on why you didn't like what happened and what you would do to improve it. And you do that every single time you watch a movie, you will get much better at screenwriting much faster. And
It's
that
exercising your film muscles.
yeah, no, that has been so helpful. Like I do that all the time now. And it honestly hasn't hurt. If anything, it's made the movie going experience more fun for me. Cause like I'm always like I'm enjoying the film, but like I also love creating so much. So like I think it makes it more enjoyable because when I am like not enjoying a scene or the movie at all, instead of like just sitting there with my arms crossed or walking out, like now I get to like say like, okay, how can I avoid doing this in my next movie, and what would I do to help this?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I find myself in a strange way. I don't do that exactly, but I have the most to say about the films that I didn't like when I review
Yeah.
them on Letterboxd. And
Okay.
really,
Yeah.
it's just a diary. I write it like this is what I feel about this and that and this and that. Like, I think when I love a film, I basically just say 5 stars, love this. You guys got to watch this. But if it's 1 star, like in fact, my longest review I think was for Killers of the Flower Moon, hating on it 24/7, and then Barbarian, which like that movie
Oh, you
pissed
didn't
me
like
off
that
to
movie?
no end. No, that film was full of so many plot holes and deliberate devices that just forced those people back into that home in ridiculous, outrageous ways, and it didn't feel human. I did not like it. I did not like it at all. It's like that person
Yeah.
has never
Okay.
been to Detroit and never been to an Airbnb.
Well, okay, fair. I guess it was modern times. I'm thinking about the flashbacks that took place in like the 60s or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that was coming up with something, but also like in the end, it felt a little mean spirited, sort of like the Hills Have Eyes, where in the end the bad guy is the freak,
Yeah.
and it's because they're a freak. That's
Yeah.
why they're bad. Like it makes you wonder. That's stuff that I'm becoming a little more aware of. But it's like it doesn't ruin a film for me, but like it becomes another notch against it after like that. Look, I'll be frank. Barbarian to me, if you they said literally, and I get notifications anytime someone randomly likes my post again because like every month or so I'll get a new like on that post,
Yeah.
and so I'm reminded of my film or my review and what it is like one of the big things in Barbarian was it takes place in Detroit and this guy the who's the guy the son of who's the actor the guy in that film he was in
Justin Long.
Dune 2. No, Justin
Oh.
Long was the best part of that film, but
I don't know this
Skarsgård,
actor's
one
name.
of the Skarsgårds, is in that film, and
Oh,
he
okay. You know what? Yes, yes. Actually, I do know who that is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was in Boy Kills World or whatever that was, and yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who this is. Yeah.
he was supposed to, he was there to scout out that neighborhood for his band to get a house, and like I could just drive through that road and know that like that's the problem. This is not the place.
Yeah.
No, the most I know Detroit is full of people that really believe that it's coming back, but like there's still overwhelming blight. And like if you're in that kind of neighborhood, I don't. It's look, you could see clearly it's not going to work out. So he's,
Yeah.
I think, kind of dumb for that, for still trying to believe or not even knowing or realizing that there are maybe murdered people 24/7 on that street. Like you really got to be given the biggest benefit of the doubt. But her, not like she goes to that Airbnb, but she not only does she book that Airbnb in like in a blighted area in Detroit, she doesn't even bother to look at Street View. She's like, "Oh, I'm booking this in Detroit proper." Where is this in Detroit proper? Is this a nice part of town? Because
Hmm.
Detroit is notorious for being Detroit. And
Yeah. Yeah.
how do you? And so that's a big failure. But not only that, but after you get double booked, not like they had all night long waiting for that laundry, drinking a bottle of wine to find another place to go. And they said immediately, we can't find another place because everything's booked for a doctor thing
Yeah.
in the motor fucking city. A doctor thing in the motor fucking city?
All
No,
right.
come up with something better. Tell me that Autorama's happening. Tell me it's the
Yeah.
biggest car convention in the world. Like, you can't convince me that not only that everything is booked in all of Metro Detroit, all the way past Ann Arbor, that, like, you can't just go to an interview and drive an extra 45 minutes to the interview. What is your fucking... That is the biggest sunk cost, like, fallacy I've ever seen people follow. Not only that, they didn't call the next day, the Airbnb, to figure their shit out because someone double booked them. And
Yeah.
something... How does that happen? You can't... That's... No, that's clown shit. It just pissed me off as a Detroiter that they would, like, do something so obnoxious. And so
Okay. No,
easily...
I mean that all makes a lot of sense, and I totally see it. I think it's just yeah. When I feel like I don't think about things like that a lot of the time when I watch movies, to be completely honest, and it's probably a fault. Like it could burn me at some point, but yeah. I mean, just being completely honest, like those thoughts did not come through my mind, but I totally like see everything you're saying.
Yeah, I think I just let it peeve me too much from the beginning, which is it's a snowball. But Justin Long with the tape measure was the greatest scene in cinema history.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I guess closing this topic out as well. Like we were talking beforehand about just like the importance of audio
Oh
over
yeah.
camera every time if you have to choose between the two.
I would
Choose
actually
the
even argue
Sennheiser with the DLSR camera over the $10 mic with the Red Komodo.
100%. Everyone is way too gung ho about making their film look beautiful, but like that is one of the funny things that like the the limitations in indie filmmaking. You can make a better film having limited camera selection, limited lens selection, limited whatever. You can, in fact, one of my favorite indie films I ever shot, we did it all on one camera lens, just a
Mhm.
50. That's it.
Oh,
Shot the
wow.
whole thing on a
Okay.
50. And it's granted 50 is really easy lens to shoot on, but they that was it. That was it. We limited to that. We weren't obsessed with figuring things out. Meanwhile, like one of the best things that I could say to someone who's especially trying to be a director, don't buy your own gear. Never buy
Mhm.
your own gear. You find people in a community. You become a part of that community, and those people have gear. Okay,
Yeah,
not to say that they're
100%. 100%. Yeah, that was how I did my first film. Everyone brought their own gear. This one, everyone brought their own gear. I'm going to be completely honest. I did buy the Sennheiser mic because I was so gung ho about
pays
getting
off.
getting the sound quality. But yeah, I. Other than that, everyone else has brought their own gear.
Yeah, I sound is important though. Yes, to go back right there. Yeah, like we said, priority to me community to writing. I think next actually is sound. Totally sound.
Sound is.
Sound will literally kill your film, and that's one of the things that I got to say. Like that's a limitation you should avoid, or you
Yes.
should break that limitation. Like even if you have to break a little bit of bank, like get the mic or rent the mic because renting is not that expensive
Yes.
these
Yeah,
days.
I did not have to buy that mic. I could have rented it at a fraction of cost. I just,
It's an investment now.
yeah, and like, yeah, I will get to use this for the next, I don't know how many years, like 10 or more. Like, it will be the mic that we use. And yeah,
And with the way the prices are going down, like the Sennheiser mic, or even like a lot of the Rode boom mics that everyone gets now, like they're the NTG whatever. Like all
yes,
the earlier generation ones are still good, and they're
yeah,
10 years old now. Like ever since like they started making incredible advancements and cheapening the technology, there's no excuse for having bad audio. It just means you don't care, or
yeah,
you're really
100%. Yeah. No, sound, like, yeah. And I mean, like, we talked about this as well. You mentioned it before we got on the call, was that you see sound. Like, that's,
hmm
you will, maybe if someone's listening to this who has never, like, watched a super low budget indie film and like they just don't realize that this is a thing, like trust me, if you watch a movie with bad sound, you will know. Like
yeah.
there are films, unfortunately, that are made with audio quality that is lower than the quality of the audio quality of this podcast, and that will yeah, I mean, it just does it. Like I watched obviously I'm not going to mention names, but I watched something from social media where someone made a 5 minute short, and it wasn't like it wasn't that bad. Like especially for like one of their first shorts, like I was actually pretty impressed. But they used the camera's audio, and they didn't do any post at all on it. And I was just sitting there watching this, and I was saying, the only reason I'm watching this is because like I make films and like I want to like support like other indie filmmakers. Like if a random person clicked on this on YouTube, they would be out in 10 seconds or less.
Yeah, if there was someone that hasn't before and wants to be a filmmaker, go to 48 Hour Film Fest and just watch the films.
Yeah.
That is a great across all levels, from like the most technical to the least technical people, the best like gauntlet to just see what it is like, what it looks like, and what the
Yeah.
product almost always is. If you're, and then that's a great way to take notes and say, oh yeah, I shouldn't do that.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, sound. And but after sound though, I gotta say lighting is next
Yes.
before even
Yes.
camera.
Absolutely. Yep, and now that's such a great improvement between the two films. That's going to be the single greatest improvement between the my first film, my second film is like the lighting. Christian Pernicano did such an amazing job with the lighting. It makes it like look like a movie. Like that's what lighting is. That's what I've learned is that like the lighting just more than the camera is like what makes it look like a movie and not like some indie project.
Oh yeah, yeah. Christian was excellent on set. He was a pleasure. But
Oh
let's
my
not
god, he's
discount
so knowledgeable.
the role that Rishi had in directing that lighting as a
Oh, one
cinematographer.
hundred percent. Yeah. No, Rishi definitely deserves his flowers, and yeah, no, I 100% did not mean to leave his name. No, like yeah, no,
Nah, no
Rishi
worries.
was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I'm a shooter for Rishi. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, Rishi absolutely killed it as well.
Yeah, lighting really changes things. In fact, one of my favorite things that Rishi was doing for the day that I was there, that China ball, okay, that is my favorite type of lighting set. One light setup is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what film, it was an indie film that they keep showing the behind the scenes of as like a mini documentary in all film classes now. It's like the indie horror film about a monster in a closet. And it was this pair of filmmakers, just two of them, that made that film, and it was an excellent film, fantastic, made the rounds of festivals, and they just used one light in a china bowl.
Oh
That's
wow.
it, and that's it the
Yeah.
entire time. And that's my favorite thing is natural lighting, because what everyone always wants to do with lighting is they want to use those GVM panel lights, the three
Mhm.
pack with like the squares. Those are the
Yeah.
least realistic lighting. It looks so artificial, looks so fake, and it's not because those lights are fake lights. It's because they point them at the person, then you see a giant shadow behind them, and it
Yeah.
looks like you just put like a flashlight on them. That's not how you use light.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned a lot about that as well in this production. That was something I just didn't know, didn't realize. It's one of those things where like that we were talking about, where like if when you watch a film and like something isn't done so egregious that you like don't that like it's like obvious what the problem is. Like that's something that I learned this time around is that like you don't want shadows.
Yeah, yeah, shadows, or especially you don't want shadows unless it's intentional.
Right, right,
Everything
yeah,
is
exactly,
deliberate on
exactly.
screen.
Yeah. But like in this sort of film, which I learned from Christian, it's like because of like the light nature and like the like literal like lighting, like making it like a lighter picture. Like shadows don't really have a place at any point in this film.
No, that works out. That works
Yeah,
out. Yeah. I will
yeah,
say though, what I've neglected actually, and the easiest thing a lot of indie filmmakers neglect is production design. I think
yes,
everyone can admit to it. Like my films when I started out didn't have anything, but production design is really what makes the film. I think actually I would rank it just below sound now. Actually thinking about it, because technically that could go with lighting, I guess. But like, um, if your film is just boring visuals, if you don't have anything in the background, if there's no meaning behind what the characters are wearing, if there's no meaning with what their rooms look like, because like these are lived in spaces, and that's what makes a
yes,
film looks like a film, is that it's not some artificial location that people happen to set things up. It's a place that people live in. People live in homes.
yes,
People uh, populate restaurants. People go to places, and those places have life. If you're in a sterile
yes.
room, it's what is this? That's Final Destination 2? You're not that like crazy person in that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's you know, both Christian and Rishi saved my ass here. I'm not going to say this film has the greatest production design of all time, but they brought this point up when we location scouted 1 or 2 weeks before we started shooting, and yeah, like I did like with the time I had to like put a band-aid on the no
Huh?
production design. Like I got like pictures of the like when we go to each of their houses, like I got framed photos of the actors who lived in that house, like on the walls, and
Hmm.
yeah, and then like we kind of like just came up with some DIY things on set as well. That's definitely somewhere that I like need to grow a ton, and like that's something that's been on like the forefront of my mind for this next film. Is that like I'm going to put a lot of thought into this. Um, yeah, I mean, like there was like wardrobe was thought out extensively for this film.
I can
So
tell each character definitely dressed like what they did.
oh, awesome, thanks. I love to hear it. I got two of the no three of the actors in the film all work at the same restaurant. So I got like custom made shirts for $20 a piece, and like they wear them, and they're like, yeah, it looks like something you would wear at a diner, like if you worked there. So that yeah, I mean that's definitely something that I need to improve on a lot, but it's something that improved a lot between the first two films. But like I think from 2 to 3, that might be no, that'll definitely be like the biggest technical growth I see in the next film. So like that's a really good one, and that's something that like I definitely need to put a lot of work into.
Yeah, that's the difficult one, I think. That's one of the hardest one to overcome because a lot of the success that especially with limited indie filmmaking, like sound is something break the bank for. Okay, camera, don't break the bank for. Production design is something that you can, or you could just go the full indie route and make it a very creative process of thrifting
Yes,
things, of
yes,
finding
that's what I was about
household
to mention.
objects,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
donating things. Like there's so many things that I love
or
about
bringing
indie
things from your
filmmaking.
house
Hmm.
or apartment or whatever.
Making it lived in, that stuff.
Yeah,
And I did see that though in that house though. You guys were definitely doing it. And I've only been on one film actually where it was like the prime directive is production design, and like I think I still have stills of that film. It's not released unfortunately, but it was a joy to be on that set because you didn't feel like you were filming on a set. You felt like you were just hanging out at someone's house.
yeah. No, that's awesome. That I would love to see, if you have the stills. I would love to see them, and I would love to see that film as well. Like that would be really cool. Especially like I find these sorts of things to be way more fascinating than I ever would if I didn't make films. Like seeing an indie film with like high quality production design. Like yes, I don't care what genre it is. Like I want to see that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the new thing I pay attention to in films. Actually, that's one of the big things because that I think you're the way that you're evolving or your self-described evolution of like the way your focus is on with improving your filmmaking. That's the step that I'm at now too, where I'm paying attention to indie production design, which
Yeah.
is the easiest thing that people neglect.
Yes. Yeah. No. And that that there's going to be a serious emphasis in the next film for production design. Um, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that. Those are my thoughts, but it is so refreshing to hear that you at least didn't think this production design was a train wreck. At least,
No,
um,
no, and I trust Rishi and Christian wouldn't do that.
no, that's also the other thing about like going back to your interpersonal relationships, making relationships with just people who aren't only like a pleasure to be around, but also like just like strong technical filmmakers. Like we're all in this together, and like yeah, like they're not gonna let something fly. Like going into an Airbnb with zero decorations anywhere and whatnot. Like yeah, like just be
Yeah.
building a community, being a part of a community where everyone cares and is good at what they do, like yeah, it's invaluable.
On that too, the that reminds me of one of the other things is with your peers with being self-critical, but also it's important to be critical of other people, and that's something that a lot of people are afraid to do. And this is why I like Rishi a whole lot. Is Rishi is not afraid to tell me this looks stupid.
Uh-huh.
Rishi's not
Yeah.
afraid to tell me like this isn't working. This is a big problem. You need to improve that because when you trust someone and you're working with someone that you trust and they trust that you're going to listen to their criticism and
Yes.
act on it, and you trust that they're not going to tell you that you're a prick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's to me is one of the big things. That's how this film I think also grew as well. Is like when you the way that you said too that you'll listen to people give you feedback on the script. A lot of people, and this is what I want to get at, is are yes men. I know
Yeah.
someone who is a filmmaker who a lot of the people that I gotta say that are egotistical and don't take criticism or surround themselves with yes men they just talk about how they publish on Tubi. And I say, like, good for you, I guess. Like, go
Yeah.
go at it, but like, are you? And I'm thinking of one person right now at the top of my head. I don't like naming people, so I'm
No,
not. But
I
it's
don't either.
it's a person that didn't participate very well with anyone else in the classes that I was in. It was a person that thought they made great films and always talked themselves up, but then they always amounted to literally nothing. And while you like, I would say Killers of the Flower Moon level of nothing, where like it could look good, he could work with an awesome crew, but like I'd say
Yeah.
like, what was the point of this? This was stupid. And like, are you seriously trying to tout this off as profound?
Yeah.
But it's because it starts at the writing, starts at all these other root
Yeah.
causes, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they don't improve, and then they're still making the same crappy films, publishing them and thinking that like all the time reminding you, yes, I did make this film. And I say, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, and yeah, no, if you're closed minded, egotistical, and you're not open to hearing criticism, then yeah, you will be stagnant. You will
Like
never
there's
be
people,
great.
this same person, and I might be getting way too specific, published film or entered art. A lot of people, in fact, at a recent collective event some of my peers hosted, they put in art and they didn't even attend. Like, why did you do that? If you like, did you just want people to see your work? Because they're not going to see your
Yeah.
work if you're not talking about it and peddling it to them there.
Yeah, no, that's wild.
Like, you just want the views? Okay, it's a
Yeah.
follow for follow play, sub for sub. Come on.
Yeah, no, fuck that. No, that's yeah. No, I want no part of that, and most people don't. Most, if not all, people want nothing to do with that as well. Those kinds of people. Yeah, and I mean, I think that this also ties in as well. Is I don't even know when you said criticism, this made me think about it as well. Like just like collaborating, like on set, and like being critical, like making sure you get the right thing. I guess this is a form of criticism, but like I don't love the word because it almost like has like a negative connotation to it, even if that's not always what it means. Is just working with your actors and directing them. The This cast was so talented. I am just so happy with all the performances. I thought everyone did such an amazing job. But it's not like rude or unprofessional or improper or whatever. If you envision something differently and you work together to get that performance from them, I see. I get the impression. I haven't been on like a ton of other people's sets and like seen it in action, but I get the impression from seeing some short films that are produced that I get the impression, because I don't see how this couldn't be the case, that the directors just straight up don't direct, and like the actors just act, and it's like we just do this and then we move on. Because I've seen actors that I've either that I'm familiar with in the space, that it's like, yes, they're good, but like this performance doesn't really exactly fit like what I think this film is supposed to be, and they totally could they totally could match the vision, but then there's just not that effort at all to get it there. And it does a disservice to not only the film but the actors as well. Like the actors want to put on the best performance possible that matches the script and the vision, and to flow with the theme and everything. And you're just doing no one any good if you just like, if you're like, all right, moving on, when like that's not how you envisioned it.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. That's so refreshing to hear a director say that. Which is hilarious to say, and it like, because that shouldn't be the case. That
Yeah.
should be your whole goal. I feel like when you're directing or when you're watching other people directing, that was definitely, they don't. That's one of the soft skills that is so difficult to learn. You can read a million books on how to
Yes.
direct, but it is really about making the. And I say this as someone that observes the director. I'm always behind the camera, but when the camera's not rolling, I'm watching.
Yeah.
And so the interactions that you had with your talent was you were soliciting, and that's the best way I like to describe it, soliciting a performance. You were soliciting performances so aptly and with such efficiency. The communication, that's something that I always had to laud for, and that's what I said at the last when I was there. But I
Well,
say it
I
again
really
here for
appreciate that.
the.
Really does mean a lot. I really
Mhm.
do appreciate you saying that,
Oh, that's
especially
the
from
truth.
someone with your experience as well. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah, I've only seen one other director do that, and I was always floored every time when you got that perfect combination of the director communicating with the actor, and the actor is number one comforted by the director, but number two, like just making like they give them the exact say like this was good, but I want you to do this specific or sorry or see I'm not even able to enunciate it right or recreate it well, but like the way you categorically like honed in on one specific even like inflection or like a way that they said something and that's what you identified and they took note and like then like it's like they were programmed like you reprogrammed them to like say do everything normal and then up to that point that you said do the thing different they did the thing different. I was like what. It's like mouth agape while I was holding the camera on set. I love seeing that. I love that when I'm on set
Well, I
because
mean, that just
I
attests to the talent they have as actors that they're able to
mm-hmm.
do that, and that they were able to do that in one take.
Oh yeah.
Like move from okay, we just wrapped take one, or we just wrapped the rehearsal take, and now we're on to take one, or take two, or take three, or whatever. That it was like clockwork. Like it would just take like one take, and like we would get something completely different. That like what I wanted to change, like we would get it, and yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just such a talented cast.
The good thing
It's
about good actors, which is so difficult to attain if you're not paying them or if you're not finding the right people, is when they know the script. All you have to do is tell them how to speak the script, and that's
yeah,
or how to act the script. Sorry, yeah, how to act the script.
yeah,
It's so many bad sets I've been on where they're still learning the lines on in front of the camera, and that's
yeah,
that's square zero. You're not even at square one.
yeah, definitely. Just to clarify, I did pay the actors.
Of course, yeah,
Um,
that's
yeah, no, I just wanted to get that out there. I don't. I'm not judging anyone or like what. People have their own budgets, and sometimes people like make films with their friends and whatnot, and like people don't get paid, and like that's not my business. But I did just want to. Yeah, I think that does like paying actors like again, no one got rich off this movie. Like we were working with a very constrained budget.
mm-hmm.
No one made a lot of money. No, like everyone was working to scale, and that is an understatement. And I am deeply appreciative for that. But with that being said, like I do feel like even if everyone is working heavily to scale and you're not making a lot of money, I think just the act of getting paid or paying your actors like will attract a higher level of talent and commitment.
150%. That's how I did my film, my master, or not, sorry, my, what is it called? My capstone film for my
Yeah,
degree. Is
yeah,
I paid my actors. I knew, like, I have to pay the actors because I'm not going to mess around. I've been on way too many sets where someone half heartedly is doing things. Like, it's
yeah,
when you put money on the table, one, like, why the heck are you trying to make a film with $0? I mean, that's an indie level filmmaking. That's impressive to me. It's not my personality, though. But, like,
yeah,
the people that need the money should get the money. Otherwise, you're paying for your time. You're really paying for your own time and sanity.
yeah.
Because if you're not working with the right people, if you're not right, like the best way to put it that I think this is what I learned when I was addicted to buying gear for music when I was a guitarist is
Mhm.
it's not that you get what you pay for. It's that you don't get what you don't pay for.
Yes,
And if you want to cheap out, you totally can. But your results will definitely vary. You can find
yes,
occasionally that perfectly committed person that will do everything for free and or way too cheap. Like it's like the NFL draft. Actually, I just watched a video analyzing the monetary payoff of certain players. It's like the early super draft people, like top first round picks, generally
yes,
didn't pay off that well. But second round draft picks pay for themselves with the productivity versus
yeah,
what they do. But
yeah.
they're getting
Or if
paid.
you're Brad
They're getting
Holmes, your
paid.
sixth and seventh round picks will.
Yeah, no, that too. It's
Yeah.
but if you're not paying, then you're not getting anything. And very rarely do you get people that overperform their wage, especially in film.
I mean, I definitely got that on this film. Not because it
Oh,
wasn't like out of greed. Like it was literally out of like this is what I can afford before like I
oh
like
yeah,
tap into my savings or whatever. But I feel pretty comfortable saying that every single person, cast and crew, um, well overperformed the wage they were paid.
yeah. And
Like
I
this
guess
this film, because of how strong the cast and crew was, like this is probably like something that would be like value, like the actual like value of the production might be like 10 times more, like a $300,000 film instead of a 30,000.
oh, absolutely. And that's why community is very important.
Yeah,
You found the community. You got the community. You built the
yeah,
community. And so that's where the dividends pay off. That's where those late round draft picks pay
yeah,
off.
yeah,
Is when you do that. Because I think one, like for me, if we're going back, if I could like tease back to that other topic of advice is, yes,
yeah,
paying people is great, but at the very least, the base is get food. Come on, if
yes,
someone's gonna spend their time, even for free, on the indiest of student film sets, get them some food, something. Like,
yeah.
not to say like you have to get them fine dining or anything. The Texas Roadhouse you got was 5 stars. Like,
Oh, awesome!
your
I'm glad you
generosity.
appreciate it. Yeah, no, I do take feeding seriously, especially at like
I've
the scale I can afford to pay. Like it's very important to me that we get good lunch, good dinner.
The amount of sets I've been on, where especially I've known specific people that say like, I don't really eat when I'm on set, so you guys don't have to eat. Like, why am I helping
Yeah,
you? Like, this isn't fun. This isn't good. You're really like, do you not realize that like, socially, it's like hosting people. You're really just hosting people and starving them there.
yeah, yeah. No, that's no good. Yeah, don't do that.
If you
Yeah,
can't afford, I guess like it's a really good metric or gauge of measurement on whether you're wasting someone's time or not too. And like I said, I'm not making. I always like I want to say like I'm not criticizing your film because I never was or like when I talk about money, money is really tough. So like I don't want to act like I'm like these. It's I'm talking about other people. Like all these horror stories, all these indie films that I've been on, like the people that don't feed or don't treat you like I don't understand how someone could have ask you to go on their set and not feed you.
yeah.
Just like I guess or no, I vocalize this because you did it right. You did it all
Oh,
right.
thank
You
you.
did it all great. You did it. You like I said, this was fantastic, and I'm not just saying that because I was on the payroll.
Well, no, thank you. I really appreciate that. No, yeah, I mean, I would love to work together again, like in a larger capacity,
Yeah,
if our
happily.
schedules line up.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Like oh, talent calls talent or not talent. What's the word for it? Like real recognizes real.
Really, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I do appreciate all that, and yeah, I mean, hearing all that's amazing. And aside from like just it like meaning a lot and making me feel good, like it also, I'm just also glad also that you enjoyed your time and felt you were treated well because yeah, I would love to work together again.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I guess if while we're showering the compliments too, the there it's another thing that I think indie filmmakers really don't get, a lot of them don't, is the wannabe auteurs is they're not good at making people comfortable on set or they're not good at creating an environment that is open and welcoming to
Oh my
everyone.
god, yeah, like they want to be like someone with like a megaphone and a monocle and like
Or
I
they want to
am
be
like
angry.
do you know who I'm do you know who you're talking to? I'm the fucking director, like the like that kind of attitude. Yeah. Yeah, no, fuck no. That is just like no. You don't even deserve to make films. You don't deserve to be on film sets if that's how you're going to treat people.
Yeah, I've as a person like I've always like I'm so timid when I was having to direct for school. I like being on the camera because that allows me to talk to a bigger fish that'll yell at people for me. But
Yeah.
but when I was had to direct, I was very polite, very kind. Like I had like someone literally from my capstone film. He day of after 2 days of filming, we wasted a lot of time because he shaved his head. He had like a personal event and he just shaved his head. And so all the film that we shot was burned.
Oh no.
And so I had to recast and restart from square one. And that's
Oh
like when you have I don't know, like I didn't even yell at him. I actually spent an hour trying to like help him out. Cause like I just like I can't find it in me to like make someone's life harder than it is if they're making
yeah,
my life harder. There's a difference between I think antagonistically doing things or just like needing some help.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd yell at someone that's being antagonistic, but I don't know. The older I get, the
Uh,
closer I am.
yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about it. I don't yell at people. Like that's not like something I would do. I don't. I can think of like one or two times that I've yelled in the past like 15 years, and that was like not like out of anger. It was like watch out, like don't get hit by a car or something like that. The idea of raising my voice at people or yelling, like that's a for me that's a big no no. Completely
You must not have any
inappropriate.
siblings.
Oh, I do.
What?
I have three older siblings. Yeah.
You don't
Uh,
yell at them?
no, yell. No, no, I don't. I don't like raising my voice at people. I'm not
Wow.
saying that there hasn't, but there wasn't yell. I specifically said like last 15 years because there definitely
Ah.
was yelling in the household growing up. But
Mhm.
as an adult, no, I don't think it's appropriate personally to yell at people.
Reflecting on that, I kind of want to say like it's weird for me when I want to write excruciating situations because I don't like living through them and I don't know how to cause them because I'm so far removed from being that type of person that would cause trouble or initiate or react accordingly like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you draw more inspiration from like your peers around you, like for those types of things? Because like I'm
Yes.
talking like wild, going wild. Like I can't.
Yes, 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 for sure. I think that's part of the reason why I like comedy and not like drama. Like I don't want to make like people feel sad. Uh, so like that's like why I'm like so hell bent on comedy. But like comedies obviously like need the like crazy people that like act like wildly inappropriate and yeah, like definitely drawing inspiration from like the environment around me or even things I've said and done. Like I mean like we were all immature at one time and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean I've drawn from like my past experiences as well. But like yeah, I mean I would say more often than not like you know just seeing people in the wild and like doing things that are like wildly inappropriate that are like inconvenient or not fun in the moment but like when you look back at can like laugh at like yeah like those kinds of things like definitely are I have been a big inspiration for my writing.
Mhm. Yeah, I need to inspire myself to write. I find myself like less inspired to come up with ideas, but I think it's beginning to come back the more that I stray away from being forced to do it as income.
Yeah, no, I'm all about it. And, something that I find that really works for me, I mean, different things are going to work for different people, but really, I just get so pumped up, like watching YouTube videos, like from, I don't know how familiar you are with like the channels of like Film Courage, Film Riot, Studio Binder,
Oh,
Standard
Studio
Story
Binder's
Company.
great.
Yeah, just listening to them, like, it's like I'm in the process of like getting ready to write my next screenplay, and like they just have like probably no way they don't. They have easily have hundreds of hours of content, maybe even thousands. And just
Hmm.
rapid fire listening to them talking about screenwriting, like that just gets me so excited and just like really creatively stimulates me. And then like when I'm like uh, getting ready to like direct, like just listening to like directing videos on repeat, like really gets those juices flowing. It's like, yeah, I mean, if I'm ever like looking to get excited or find inspiration to like start writing, like, yeah, listening to those YouTube videos or listening to a masterclass. I mean, I know that's behind a paywall, but like listening to like Aaron Sorkin or Judd Apatow talk about like screenwriting, like that gets me really excited. Yeah, I mean, it's like if I was in your shoes, that's what I would recommend. But I mean, like I said, like different things are going to work for different people.
Yeah, no, I might have to check in on that now. I loved Studio Binder. I loved No Film School with
Yes.
formerly Wheezy Waiter. That guy was awesome. Um, Jeez, I gotta say though, it reminds me of a phrase that my old guitar teacher taught me. That is kind of how I think about these types of things. Where when you want to improve in practice, is
Yeah.
practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, and that's something that I think a lot of indie filmmakers fail to, or subconsciously fall into the trap of not doing that because what I'm getting at is like Studio Binder and all those other things. They are working off of source material from full productions that were funded, doing successful things, and
Yes.
giving accolades for all these things. When a lot of people a lot of people that I've seen it personally, they don't really watch all those films. They don't take notes or anything, and they just
Yeah.
think that they've got it. And then their inspiration is what they watch on Instagram or some random like
Yeah.
you can't practice. I know it's contradictory to everything I said about like, well, you see everything, you take notes from bad films, but like when you watch good films, uh that's how you really see what works.
Yeah.
Once you find out what works, because you can write
Yes.
down what works, opposite to like what you said, where like what doesn't work and what will you improve.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. 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 No, I agree too. 100%. Every time I watch a movie and I love. Yeah, no, I take notes on everything, literally everything. When I love it, yeah, like I'm not one of those jackasses that uses their phone in theater. Fuck those people. But the second the movie is done, like I am like compiling a list of thoughts in my mind, like while the movie's going at the theater. The second the end credits roll, I just start rapid firing in my notes, like what I liked, what I didn't like, why I liked it, why I didn't like it. Yeah,
Mm.
what you liked is it might be even more important than what you didn't like. I mean, they're both so important. I don't know which I would say is more important, but yeah, no, yeah, good catch. That is so important, and it's yeah something that I look for a lot as well.
Yeah, a lot. I did fall for that with cinematography when I was learning it. When I was just watching like people on YouTube, and like people on YouTube are cool to get little notes, but like you can't really. The best way is to just see what's on screen. What are they
Yes,
doing and try to figure it out. And
yes,
what I've seen actually, what my favorite cinematography technique with is lighting, and it's diegetic lighting. Having a lamp on in the room, having places that have light sconces, like just like find places with interesting lights around them.
yes.
That it makes it like it's like a cheat code.
Oh yeah, yeah. Before we start wrapping things up, I can't go the whole podcast without mentioning this. You got to tell me about your Emmy. That is so cool. I was mind blown when I saw you won one. Like, tell me what did you win the Emmy for? When did you win it? How did it make you feel?
Yeah, there's a. Oh man, this is something that this is the first time I've officially been able to discuss it in this type of capacity. It's the Emmy is cool because there's a lot that I could teach and inform people about in the industry with that Emmy because of how I reached this Emmy. I this past summer at the yeah, this past summer we won. Me and a crew of people from my workplace, along with one of our clients, won a Emmy for production, or sorry, for set design. We won an Emmy for set design,
Set
and
design.
this was an Emmy for set design from the National Academy of Television and Sciences. So this was for the television Emmys, and this was in the Ohio Valley chapter, which is basically Southern Ohio, Kentucky, parts of Tennessee, Virginia, like basically the part of the Rust Belt that's closer to the Ohio Valley River.
Yeah.
So there were some Buckeyes there, unfortunately, but it wasn't it wasn't too bad. In fact, my boss is a Buckeye, which is
Oh
hilarious. He likes
no.
to remind people, but he's not quite. I have off the record. I want to tell you about a story that of a the first time I've encountered a Buckeye self-proclaimed, and they were exactly being a Buckeye self-proclaimed. But um, so that was hosted in Lexington, Kentucky,
Uh huh.
for this year in the summer. And so something important to note about the Emmys is they are not just the nationally televised Emmys
Uh huh.
that happen in the Hollywood chapter. That is
Yeah.
one category of that's the primetime Emmys.
Yeah.
And that's for all the productions that make primetime television, national television, syndicated everywhere, whatever,
Yeah.
Netflix, all the cool beans. But then there are also other chapters of the Emmys. There's the international chapter of the Emmys for the entire world. That one's a lot less I guess, revered because or I want to say revered. An Emmy is still an Emmy. So I have to start by saying it is still a real Emmy. It is made
Yeah.
out of the same thing that other people get their Emmys out of. Maybe the primetime Emmys give a little extra real gold to the people, but
Yeah.
I have a gold plated statue at my work office.
Yeah.
But ours was the national one. And so what that is, it's region by region. You can go to, I think, nats.org, I believe, or just the NATA, or sorry, NATAS. And they have the Ohio Valley, there's the Great Lakes chapter, there's like the mountain chapter, Florida, like all these different regions based off of that. And the main purpose it serves is to laud television, broadcast television. We have
Yeah.
how many local news stations here? All across the country, we have thousands upon thousands,
Yeah.
and they deserve all the credit they deserve for making amazing news coverage, for
Yes.
giving community, for fostering community in the entire everything that's not just universal and projected. It's so what we were winning was among many different people broadcasting there. So all the Cincinnati stations were Lexington, Louisville,
Yeah.
Columbus, all these radio broadcasters, all these news broadcasters, like there were some anchors there winning awards. They're like, as if like I wish I had an award from the Great Lakes chapter because then I'd see all the local 4 news people. I'd
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
Grand Rapids, like. So I was like watching alternate reality celebrities accept awards at this ceremony.
Yeah. Definitely.
And there is production. It was streamed, so I guess technically it was televised. You could watch it. You
Yeah.
can rewatch it too. But okay, so that's just to give context for what that is, and not to denigrate it because this is one of those things that a lot of people don't think about. Is when they're trying to be up and coming, they try to focus on just film.
Yeah.
Television is notorious for like one of the best advice I received when I was trying to work in commercials. The cinematographer said, "Yeah, just work at a news station. You'll get like 10 Emmys." Like,
Yeah.
you can get Emmys. They're there for you the taking. And like for a lot of people, they don't. When when I got my Emmy, everyone was like, "Dude, you got an Emmy. You got an Emmy." And I'm like, "Yeah,
That's
I
how
got
I
an Emmy, but
felt.
I work I work in television." But yeah, there are people with many more Emmys than me. In fact, so the people that we got the Emmys with, it was one of our clients. So our company is Key Code Media. We were a media integrator, and we worked with a client, Kentucky Farm Bureau Studios, who does Farm Bureau insurance and also government lobbying to on behalf of the farmers. So it is for the entire state of the Commonwealth state of Kentucky, and
Yeah.
they got a production budget. I guess the marketing team was doing a great job, and they had already won a couple of Emmys just in their own little tiny studio, which is the size of like a 20-foot by 20-foot room with a tiny little light grid, one green screen, and they got Emmys. But they're amazing filmmakers. They were able to produce superb content. But eventually they got a budget thanks to that from Head Honcho, and they went to us to help construct them a magnificent studio. I'll give the
Yeah.
pictures after this so you could put them wherever you need to, or if you just so you could see them too.
Yeah. Oh no,
Uh,
I would love to.
it's a 50-foot by 100-foot studio, so I'd say the size of a basketball court.
Okay.
Or I think I'm estimating wrong. I don't know the numbers, but it felt like the size of a basketball
Yeah.
court. 30 feet tall ceiling, with multiple sets. They had a green screen wall with a bunch of light control, which also could have a bunch of different backdrops instead of green screen. We had a talk show studio, which had a 15-foot LED wall, which basically
Mhm.
was like the Tiger scoreboard, where it's a TV, just a
Yeah.
giant TV.
Mhm.
And then another corner, which is more of a news station area, but sort of talk show as well, a more flexible zone with
Yeah.
more homely environment. We provided all the technology for that and contributed creatively in many ways to getting all that working. I, the best way I could say it is like it took us. I basically lived in the state of Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, for 6 months total, I think, on throughout the duration of that project.
Oh
From
wow. Okay.
building the
That's
studio, and that was on and
awesome.
off. We'd go
Yeah. Yeah.
there
Yeah. Like how?
for a
Sorry.
week
How
or
long was this
two.
process?
It was like a 2 year long project, I think. No,
Okay.
maybe less. I
Yeah.
don't know. It depends.
That's cool though.
But they get that. Or yeah, we get the bid. We start working with them. We start constructing things. Then we are finding many hurdles that we overcome. And so that is where I guess we ended up getting our Emmy is for collaborating. We did this, and I can't forget. We also worked with. It wasn't just us. We also contracted or partnered with Creative Dimensions, which is now a different name, but that's their old name. and they built the studio. We did all the technology,
Yeah.
and then we worked with a bunch of different companies to make all of this. They had like a full editing suite, a full audio works, like a full Pro Tools, like 10-foot wide board with all the recording apparatus,
Mhm.
robotic cameras, which is now becoming standard. But like 2 or 3 years ago, when we were just starting this project, like that was cutting edge. The MRMC robot heads. They put Canon C300s on robot heads that could pan and track and read the image,
Mhm.
which a lot of gimbals can do now, a lot of things, but like that is the baseline now.
Yeah.
Um, and so those guys, they work for the Kentucky Farm Bureau, but they farm Emmys. They already had Emmys, and so unique to that region, set design was one of the categories. And so we entered with them, and we all had to pay our dues to join the Television Academy. And so it wasn't a free award, but but we yeah. And so then we were nominated in May. July was the gala. Something to note with the award is it wasn't an award where like we were beating other people in a category. We weren't judged, I guess, against others. We were
Okay,
judged
that's
just on a
interesting.
national score. And so
Yeah.
the way we won, why I cherish this Emmy as well even more is we weren't judged based off of like if we did better than other people in the Ohio Valley.
Mhm.
We were judged and had to reach a certain threshold of achievement in our score nationally
Right. So
to win.
it wasn't like okay, we have these five sets. It was like and like one of these will win. It was like you're up against like thousands, right? If I'm
Yeah, I guess
understanding correctly.
thousands, and if anyone passed the barrier, then they won the
Yeah.
award. So we could have
Okay.
we could have had two winners in our category
Yeah.
actually, because there were two entrants in ours. The other people they just did a tiny little green screen wall, and so they didn't win anything. But yeah, we ended up winning an Emmy, and
That's awesome, and I love that so much. That all the work that was put in, and it wasn't just like a green screen. Like
yeah,
I love the realness.
they did a fantastic job as creatives to make that set earn that award as well because the content that they've produced is outrageous and insane and they have supreme talent to be a part like it's one of those things where when you alone can't do it but when you've got a whole farm together you can
Yeah,
make a lot happen
yeah, definitely. Oh, that's
and
awesome. Yeah,
and
I mean,
to
congratulations.
thank you I like to save it like I like to let people like see that I have an Emmy. I don't like to be forward and say I have an Emmy or whatever because like that's after that big explanation, like it's a lot less. I don't want to say less significant because it's still an Emmy, motherfucker.
No, no, I think that
but it
that's
really is a
something that everyone will
testament.
recognize. Like an Emmy's an
Yeah,
Emmy.
I think it also. In telling this, I want to share that like this is something that a lot of people can do. They really can do and can get an Emmy if you find yourself in the right places. Like community is important, but like
Yeah,
community also because those are your connections. That I got this job through the community that I built.
yeah,
And that's how I ended up here. And that's how I ended up with that Emmy. And that Emmy's gonna lead to more Emmys. So
yeah.
it's a
It's a full
snowball
circle. Yeah,
of it's gonna keep getting better. Once the wind is under your wings, it's gonna get going. But it's up to you to make that wind, I guess. And when you can do it smart. Like I tell people now, anytime that I have someone like graduating college and say, try television, work at a television station, I
yeah,
tell all my friends like I keep my ear to the ground. Anytime there's a television station hiring, I tell my friends, please just work at the television station. It's not
totally.
exactly what you want. I know you want to do more than just that, but that is a great way to get connected with the people that will make
Yeah,
it happen.
yeah, totally. And also, like in the interim, also like do that and make films like on the weekends or in the evenings.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly that.
yeah,
And on top of that, the perks of working in a place like that, like getting
yeah,
to use some of the equipment sometimes, maybe if you
yeah,
want, or
yeah. No,
um,
totally. No, that's an amazing bit of advice and something that I haven't heard before personally. I mean that's very well
yeah,
said.
it's like an open secret. That's the weird thing is like
Yeah.
what I've found is like people in television are not cutthroat. Like
Uh
it is like they were just like happy to hang out. All the rival news stations, they were giving each other congratulations, saying hi to each other. Like
that's
they
awesome.
they were just happy to be around. Like it's one
So
of those
like you think like
places.
Fox 2 and Fox 4 or local Fox 2 and local 4, like you think they probably get along well, or like examples of that?
Oh yeah, yeah. They probably
Yeah.
like, especially the crews, because at all the places where they cover, especially simultaneously, like
Yeah.
Woodward Dream Cruise, for instance, they
Yeah.
might not be right next to each other, but like they're not gonna be like it's not Anchorman.
Yeah, that's a good callback. Um
And I would argue it's a lot easier to get your foot in the door in TV just because of the sheer volume of television
yes.
stations. So many local stations that, and they're
Yeah.
run a lot mostly by people that are just like local. And so some of them, not to say that it's lower stakes, but like a lot of the people that run those stations aren't really thinking like I need to hire some Hollywood elite. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're local. You got a car? Come on. It's the gold old fashioned walk in, give them a good handshake, and say I want a job.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love that. Um, yeah, I mean, this has been an outstanding conversation. I've had a lot of fun. It's been really great. This is actually the longest podcast I've done. I feel kind of bad. I said maybe up to an hour, and now we're over two. I hope
Ah,
it's fine.
nah,
But
it's a good chat. Really good
no, I
chat.
love this. So just wrapping things up, just some questions I ask all my guests. Number one, if there was one performer you could work with in the film space, who would it be?
That's difficult. A performer. So, we're talking just like actors, right?
Yes, yeah.
Hmm. At the top of my head, I'm gonna go with my gut. Definitely Ryan Gosling.
Okay, someone else mentioned him. I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was Rishi.
Oh yeah. Ah,
But
that's totally
maybe
a
I'll look
Rishi answer.
stupid. Maybe someone for sure mentioned him. I think it was Rishi. It might have not been. But yeah, that's the first repeat there.
He's good. He makes a lot of. I think he puts his money where his mouth is, but also he can have fun. I think that's my favorite type of films. Like Barbie was, in my opinion, a fantastic film, and I loved every second of it because the people in it were giving their performance, but like they were not afraid to be self-aware and be funny.
Yeah. That was not my favorite film. I didn't hate it, but I definitely don't feel how you feel about Killers of the Flower Moon about it. But that was like it was like a 5 out of 10 for me. It just wasn't. I don't know. I didn't gel with it the way
Wow.
Five's not bad. That's average.
I guess. Well, yeah, you're right. For me, 5 out of 10 is yeah. I liked it. It was fine. I'm not gonna say no to it.
Yeah, yeah. And then next one, one writer and or director that you could work with.
Hmm. I almost want to say like the ones that I don't want to work with actually. Like I wouldn't want to be, and this is hilarious to say, I don't want to be on any Nolan films. I don't want to actually. I just don't across the board. I don't want to work with people that are auteurs that literally can fund things and get money just for being themselves. I
Yeah, okay.
think
Nolan's, I think, my favorite director, at least in the non-comedy space. But
he's cool, he's good, but it's turned into he's playing with his toys, and so it stopped to me as an indie
I
filmmaker.
loved Oppenheimer.
I mean, that was great. It was magnificent. It was awesome, fantastic. Actually, yeah, that was a great film. But no, it's one of those things of like I don't know, like when I think of what I love and am inspired by, I guess he is trying to say something profound there. And Oppenheimer's worth a whole podcast.
Yeah, and Dark Knight's one
um,
of the greatest movies of all time. But
I think Dark Knight's good. I think I liked the new Batman better.
oh no, I liked it a lot. Like I probably gave it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. But I think the Dark Knight's a 10.
Dark Knight is good, but I think you should watch them side by side, not to ruin your view, but like also like just to play contrarian. The Dark Knight, it felt like Gotham was Chicago, and
Ha!
it
That's
kind of
exactly
was.
what Rishi said.
But the Batman, what they did is like they made him a maniac. They made Batman literally unhinged. He's literally just a weirdo in a bat suit.
I swear to God, like you and Rishi are like saying so many similar things.
We're always chatting about stuff together, so
Okay.
I think we're becoming a little homogenous.
Okay.
But no, I
Um,
guess I can't think of anyone specifically in writing or directing that I can think of, but I do appreciate a lot of classics. So yeah, I guess I'm happy to just be on set.
okay. fair enough. And then last one, your top 5 comedy movies of all time.
Oh, snap. I know that's a question you ask. I should have came prepared for that. Can I take a second to look at my letterboxd?
100%, yeah. I mean, you teased a few of them already, but
Oh, wait, snap. Okay, well, I know two. All right, that's two, easily. All right. Come on, what have I seen? Show me. The cool thing about this is I'm not good at remembering. I
yeah.
take letterboxd because I don't remember what films I've watched.
Uh-huh.
And this gives me a great opportunity to just remember.
We'll see how many overlap there are between mine and yours. I'm guessing one, but we'll see if we get to two.
Um, I like. Okay, I gotta think. I. Oh, okay. Wait. Yes. All right. That's one. Or no, no. I have three. All right. Um, I'm just gonna go to my 5-star reviews. Sorry, I should have had this prepared. I would have. I could have. I totally
Oh, no
could have.
problem. No, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, that's one. That's totally one. Absolutely. Um. Okay. All right. All right. I think number five is. I just like to say. I'll just call it at Superbad. I think five is Superbad.
Okay, that's the one that I knew we were gonna get. Okay, that we would agree on. Fantastic film.
Five is Superbad. Um. Four is. Oh shoot! Am I already forgetting them? Oh, okay. No. Five is Superbad. Four is Hubie Halloween,
I have not
and
seen that one.
I accept full hate for that. That is, and I have to add an asterisk to it because like that film embodies the spirit of Halloween. Okay,
Okay.
it is full on, true on, leans into its camp. I think a
Yeah,
lot of people they say like Adam Sandler didn't win the Oscar for Uncut Gems, so he sought out to make the worst movie ever. But like haters are haters. That film is
Adam
fantastic. It
Sandler's
is
the
a
star of this.
riot. Yep, Adam Sandler,
Okay, I
Netflix,
like him a
Hubie
lot, so I'll have
Halloween.
to see it.
It's a fantastic film. I just love it. It's got so much heart. That's five.
Four.
Four, or sorry, that's four. Uh, Three is then gonna be Robin Hood Men in Tights. I
Okay,
think that's the best Mel Brooks film, and it's the one that I definitely am the least tired of because a lot of his
really? Okay,
films
I
can
like
get
Blazing
tired quick.
Saddles.
That's the one I haven't seen yet,
What?
and so I gotta see it. So
Don't don't watch that one with the windows open.
yeah, I'll be careful. Um, and that was three. Yeah,
That was three.
then
Yeah.
two and one. Two and one, both from the same director. Uh, Two is Snatch, and one is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, both by Guy Ritchie.
Okay. Interesting list. No, those are yeah. The only one that's been repeated is Super Bad. Good list though. My favorite one, and no one has listed this yet, and it bums me out, is Wedding Crashers.
Oh, geez, that was back when I used to go to AMC. No, it's been a long time since I've seen Wedding Crashers. That's got Vince Vaughn, right? Or
Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Rachel
yes.
McAdams,
Oh, that's a
Christopher
2000s
Walken,
cast.
Bradley Cooper, Will Ferrell. Yeah.
Yes, that is
Yes.
totally 2000s.
I personally think that's the greatest film of all time.
Now I have to check it out again. Okay.
It's going to be a hot take. I can't imagine you or virtually anyone would watch it and say this is the greatest movie of all time. But I do think that most people, yeah, a super majority of people that watch it will say at the bare minimum that was a good movie, even if they're not a big comedy fan.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to check it out, and especially
Yeah.
after our discussion on like the 2000s. Like I'm
Yeah.
totally in the same camp.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been great talking with you, John. And yeah, I
Yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, this was. I'm not complaining that it went over 2 hours because it's just a good conversation. That's what
yeah,
happens
no,
in a
totally.
podcast.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
we could have run cut and
Awesome.
dry just through those questions, but we didn't.
Yeah, we did it.